So Portugal finally got the job done, and they took over the Ethiopian capital, and that's because of their production of a bunch of ironclads. They really kind of came out of nowhere there. I guess they have access to coal, and now they might be able to get their fifth city. So the Second Council of London is in session, and England is trying to ban gems. We'll have to find out exactly who has gems and why they're trying to do that, as well as, yes, we're just trying to stay out of the way, I guess. But let's check on the info addicts. It's been several turns since we've checked in last, and let's see who's winning. So far, look at that. Boom, Portugal has caught Spain, because I don't think Portugal was number one before. I think Spain was number one, I thought at least, or India. But we have a tie, pretty much a first place tie for 10 million. Shanghai not too far behind. America not too far behind either. Look at England here. You know, obviously everyone's talking about England. They're the big powerhouse here, but very low population. Which, I mean, it's okay. That's not a terrible thing, but they'll probably certainly rise up with time. It's just going to take some time to really integrate that. Crop yield, they're winning. With manufactured goods, they're also winning. GNP still going to India, but just barely. Just barely. In terms of military manpower, India still controls the strongest, I guess, army/navy force in the world. So, I mean, but barely. Persia's at war. Persia's also I think it's a divided up empire. They've got cities kind of all over the map, at least one or two colonies out there besides, outside of their capital. Shanghai doing well for themselves, so are the Netherlands, and then England. I'm surprised that England's this far behind, but the Celts not too far behind England themselves. So if that English-Celtic War ends up ever breaking out, it might be a little bit interesting. It might be really interesting. Mayans, America, Spain, Greece. Portugal all the way at 12, but I think they're focused, and they actually have a navy, which is good, because a lot of these people don't even have navies, and they're at the top 10 list. So, yeah. Technology, India is still killing it. Persia, the Netherlands, and Portugal. We saw our first ideology in the last video, but we haven't discovered anything else. Nothing else in terms of ideologies so far. But that's all for now. Let's just keep it like that. Those are kind of the most important stuff. And let's go to the next turn. Let's see what happens. Really am curious to see exactly how Portugal is going to continue to go about their strategy. Like I said, they've built several ironclads. Bam, and America's destroyed Tonga. So the Polynesians will more than likely... Well, I mean, could they take this back? I don't think with 2 crossbowmen attacks and a pikeman. I don't think so. They could probably really lower Tonga's health, but it'll be too late. Well, actually, I mean, Tonga's in resistance. They've got a cannon unit that could fire upon them. I guess they could use these 2 ships. We'll see. We'll see what the Polynesian AI does. I imagine they'll try to take it back. Oh, boom. Never mind. Yeah, you made a mistake there. I don't think you even used the attacks from the crossbowmen. You just attacked with that guy that was embarked, and that was a disaster. Okay, so Washington's peaced out with Poland. I'm sorry. I guess he realizes that there's no point in going there. America's still in a very difficult spot. They still this doesn't really mean much. Whereas for Portugal, their acquisition of the Ethiopian capital could have been kind of a domino effect. Poland and India piecing out. The Celts and the Inca piecing out. And what do we have? So, gems were banned. Not sure who it was that has gems. I'm guessing someone near England, maybe? Or was it... I don't know who England hates. I don't see any gems around there. And then what about this? Oh, it doesn't even matter. Make a proposal. Dang it. Well, we'll have to vote for somebody in the next, world host or whatever. I'll eventually lose that spot, I'm hoping. All right, so I'm kind of focusing in on this region of the map. Really want to see what America's going to do, what Portugal are going to do. Both of those nations seem to be... They've made a slight gang. It's not huge. Don't get me wrong. They're not making massive gangs or anything like that, but they're making slight gangs. As well as something to keep in mind, especially with Portugal, because Portugal has they're the most populated empire in this world so far, and part of the reason is because of Porto at 25 population already. That's really amazing, and I can only imagine that this city is going to probably have some pretty good production, even though the tiles, there's not that many production tiles around the city. They can still probably get up some buildings, and they have a lot of citizens. They might be able to pull something out, but I'm curious to see if Porto is a production powerhouse. If it is, that could be the sign. That could be a big sign. Where is Portugal going? They sent down units, but I have no idea why. They're actually... Wait a second, where are you going? I know there's an Ethiopian city here, but why aren't you going after this one? I don't know. We might see definitely the Ethiopian peace deal, where Ethiopia gives up like a city or so. I predicted that when America was at war with Ethiopia, but it didn't happen. I thought it was. I really thought it would happen, but it didn't. It definitely did not happen. So that's too bad. Celts are really filling out this island with a whole bunch of range units. I feel bad for anyone that tries to attack there. Although there's a mountain, so that's going to make things difficult. You can't shoot across the mountain, so maybe it won't be as well defended as I'm predicting right now. England didn't actually go to war with anybody in the last video. I thought they would, but there seemed to be somewhat rebuilding. Okay, so we have the Aztecs and the Mongolians now at war with the Zulu. Not sure why. Why are these people going to war with the Zulu? Persia building the Oracle. And we also have the Syria and the Shoshone piecing out. All sorts of different wars have been kind of occurring in the last like 1 or 2 videos, which is interesting, especially because not that much has really occurred from these 2 wars. We've only seen 2 cities exchange hands here. Wait a second, I do think that Greece and Mongolia are somewhat close to each other. Yes, they are. Carthage and the Ottomans have pieced out. We have Korea and the Aztecs piecing out. So as you can see, all these peace deals just show. I mean, there were a lot of wars that had broken in the previous videos, but like I said, I mean, nothing really too big happened. Ooh, look at China though. China's been building something here, and we should be also getting somewhat close to our first few airplanes. Airplanes are also going to be a really big deal in this map. A very, very, very big deal. And that should separate, like if that should separate some of these civs that think that they could just build land units and end up surviving. You know what I mean? Boom. Okay, so Portugal's been... I'm sorry. Polynesia has been kicked out of Tonga. Almost completely kicked out. There's still this pikeman, but that's fine. They'll deal with that later. So what does this mean? So far, I think that the only new development now that America, now that the acquisition of Tonga into the American Empire, I think that you have to think that maybe the Zulu and America could get into it soon. So now I'm kind of worried about the Zulu because you border both England and America, pretty strong forces. I mean, now for the game, and you guys are gonna have top 5s, and I'd love to know your top 5s. My top 5 so far in this game, because we're about I would say I think we're gonna go to. It depends. It really depends on late game. Not entirely sure. We'll for sure go to turn 500. Second ideology. Boom. America's chosen order. There you go. And 2 more nations have pieced out with Russia. My top 5 is going to differ, and we're only about 150 turns into maybe 120, 170 turns. I don't know. We're still ways away from the end of this campaign, but I would say my top 5 would be obviously England number 1. I would say the Celts at number 2. I think. Yeah, I'm going to say the Celts at number 2. I'm going to say Portugal at 3. Before I was kind of putting America at 3, but I'm going to say actually Portugal. They're looking good, and I love that they're actually building a navy now. That's awesome. And then I say America 4. 5th, and just for the sake of them having the most powerful military, I'm going to say India. I think they could get lucky if they go to war with Greece, maybe. They could have a lot of luck, actually, if they go to war with Greece, because Sparta is completely undefended now, as they are going to move across this lake, or I guess the ocean, to go attack the Mongolian capital. America's adopted order, but obviously I realize that, because this is an interesting campaign, because the categories don't necessarily tell you much. We could look at the info addicts all day and we could see the same different civs on top of those leaderboards, but we know that that's not really how we're going to crown the winner here of this campaign. You know what I mean? You got to take cities, you got to take capitals. So that's why it's a lot easier. Ooh, now India going after Mongolia, as well as Austria teaming up too. Yeah. As a human player, the categories, as we as viewers, categories don't mean as much in the info addicts. You have to really look at each nation individually. Look how many ships they have built up. Look at their progress. Look at their position on the map. That's how you're able to predict who you think is actually going to be doing good. Like, you know, the game is saying that, you know, nations like I don't know. I guess China, like China's doing good. But well, actually, I did talk about how I do like how China has been building some ships, but you know, they only have privateers. They're going to run into the same problem Japan ran into in the last video. But I wouldn't consider China. I would say like at least at the very top, maybe 8, 9, 10 in my rankings. I wouldn't put them up that high. But anyways, so Greece is starting to really contribute a lot. I forgot that Corinth is here as well. So they might be able to... So they're going to be sending support down from both the north and the south to attack the Mongolian. I think this is the final Mongolian city, right? Because they lost their capital, I believe. India, I don't think is going to contribute too much. I believe Siam and India are still at war, but I might be smoking crack on that. That could be the crack speaking to me. But I don't know. I'm not sure if it is or not. The Ottomans and Morocco. Ottomans and Morocco, I don't think border each other, but we'll see. Songhai, again, trying for St. Petersburg. I'm not even going to pay attention to that. It's not going to happen. Morocco only has 2 cities, I believe. Now, that was the Moroccans declaring war on the Ottomans. That's unfortunate. If it was the other way around, I would think, oh, maybe the Ottomans are finally starting to build a navy. But no, they're not. Still not using that unique ability. You know, again, the Ottomans could, you know, like I said in the last video, it could really... At any moment, a Civ could come back and all of a sudden become this huge, powerful force. I wouldn't underestimate, especially if England is going to sit there and not do anything right now. This is really, the longer they sit here and not go after cities, the longer of an opportunity they're allowing other AIs to eat up and absorb and sponge and blob out. So I don't even know if sponge is I don't know where sponge came from. I've never heard of that term before used in the way that I used it. But yeah. I believe that Portugal is still at war with Ethiopia. They're probably just building. Actually, could Portugal be going after the other Ethiopian city? If that's... Oh, they're not. Okay, that's good. Because that would have been a disaster. How is Greece doing? We have Mongolia down to about 4 units. And Greece is still somewhat approaching. The problem is I don't think they're going to be able to get the job done by themselves. You might need help from Japan. Maybe Japan could help. But Japan just got out of a war. Japan just got out of a war, and it was a really deadly war. Actually, no, they didn't even get out of it, did they? Did they ever end up piecing out? Brandenburg Gate by Darius has been built. Persia's been doing a really good job at building wonders. A very good job. Oh my gosh, I completely forgot that Athens and Istanbul are right next to each other. Well, that was my bad. Greece, see, that's the problem. I've seen that happen a lot in this campaign, where AIs declare too many wars at once. You focus on one nation. You're declaring way too many wars at one point. Ooh, Assyria. Look at Assyria here. They've got several frigates. Several frigates, and they've got some melee units also that can help them out too. They seem to be in good relationships, on good terms with both England and Catherine. Elizabeth and Catherine, I should say. Still waiting for that Spanish-English war. I think that Spain will be able to hold them off. I think maybe. Maybe not. It would. They've got a lot. You know, I completely retract that statement. Never mind. They've got no navy. If they had these numbers out here in the ocean, then maybe. But these riflemen will not be able to do anything against a bunch of ships that are going to be attacking Madrid from the north to the south. Washington's peaced out with Polynesia. That was inevitable. There was nothing really else for America to take. Polynesia is down to their 3 cities. No, they've pieced out for this city up north. Oh, man. Oh, that's big. Wow, they got really lucky there. They got very lucky there. Wow, okay. And again, it might only be furthering the, or I guess straining the relationship that possibly Portugal and America had. Now Portugal is starting to be surrounded by the American Empire. Arabia and Persia pieced out. What else do we have? England choosing order. Same with the Americans. So that is interesting because we might be seeing a possible alliance here. Oh, did I skip over the Netherlands? I must have accidentally skipped over the Netherlands. So more than likely, America and England are going to ally to each other. they might not ever go to war. Usually that's what tends to happen when civs choose the same ideology. We'll see. How are the Netherlands doing? I do like the Netherlands. They just haven't really done much with their very lucky position. They're very lucky to be in the position that they're in, but they haven't really done much in it, or with it, I guess. Look, they've got this island here, too. They've had access to a lot of land, and they just didn't end up doing it. They never ended up using any of it. They've got a lot of... Ethiopia, Polynesia. That's a weird one. Two civs that are really not doing so well. Going after it. Actually, that was Ethiopia declaring war on Polynesia. That's something to be specific about. Samoa's here. Samoa's still around. I don't know for how much longer. We have Mongolia and the Aztecs. We have Persia and Mongolia. Okay. Oh, but they're... Persia... No, Persia's not a part of this cluster here. Morocco. Ooh. Okay, so we were just talking about Assyria. I don't think the Assyrian-Mongolian war is going to end in anything too beneficial, but that Assyrian-Polynesian war, that will be big. I think, as long as they do the right things here, attack the right way, yes, Samoa will probably fall. Samoa's got 2 crossbowmen, and they'll be able to take over this, Wait, did you take something in the process? Yes, they did. Boom. Oh my goodness. Now this is really helping the AI. This is why I'm very glad that I put it on Emperor. It is nice to see some of these cities just given away because the AI is freaking stupid sometimes. So, you know, obviously Portugal would have taken that city over. It was only a matter of time. Sweden and the Aztecs are somewhat close to each other, right? Yeah, they are. But that was actually Sweden declaring war on the Aztecs, so that was strange. Anything else that's gone down? Anything else? So, besides the fact that both Portugal and America are these comeback kids, the thing is, the tensions are going to rise with both of these nations. And you know, honestly, the world doesn't really need these two to go at it. That would be a huge distraction, and it would really benefit England. I think this is like one of the most interesting parts of the map. Everyone that's bordering England right now, I find it's really interesting. And I'm mainly looking at Russia, Rome, and Spain. Those three powerful, those three countries, because they can kind of somewhat defend themselves, but at the same time, not really. As well, you know, I don't know. It's just interesting. I think the Zulu, I don't know. The Zulu might be, they could fall to England, but I don't know. Assyria, what's going on? Don't make the mistake. Don't make a stupid mistake, Assyria. Please do not make a stupid mistake. Songhai and the Aztecs. So there's some skirmishes going on here. Sweden has sent over a few caravels, but the Aztecs really will outnumber them by quite a bit. Now, these are a lot of land units. This is their unique units. This is really bad for Sweden, now that I think about it. They've got nothing ranged here to protect Stockholm. Absolutely nothing ranged. Whereas the Aztecs have an okay navy. Anyways, we're going to have to wait and see what the developments are of this in the next video. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time.